Oh, hey, Marsha P Johnson is my first of two Women Up Wednesdays you're getting from me today. I'm going to have to talk fast. You're just going to have to deal with it. Born in 1945 with assigned male at birth. That wasn't right. After high school, moved to New York with $15 and a bag of clothes, started dressing exclusively as a woman, adopted the name Marsha P Johnson, P standing for Pay It No Mind, which was her life motto, as well as her response when anyone questioned her about her gender. In New York at this time, LGBTQ rights were not what they should be, and so it was very difficult for her to find work. So she had to hustle, do whatever she could, turn to sex work. This put her in a lot of really dangerous situations. She was even shot. She didn't have permanent housing. A lot of times she lived with friends or in hotels or movie theaters, doing whatever she could. She did serve like waiting tables and she performed drag, but most of her work did come from sex work. Her life changed dramatically in 1969 when she found herself near the Stonewall Inn, where the police raided, and there was the uprising. There are conflicting reports. Some say that Marsha started the uprising by throwing the shot glass at the mirror. Other stories say that she climbed the lamppost and threw a heavy purse, which broke the windshield of a police car. But either way, this activated young trans women because they were particularly vocal because they had nothing left to lose. They were sick of the oppression that they were feeling every single day and all the discriminatory laws. The Stonewall Uprising awakened an entire generation of LGBTQI activists, and Marsha was one of them. She started attending rallies and meetings and sit-ins, but she realized that transgender people were not really being included. And so she, in 1970, partnered with her friend Sylvia, who is my next video, and they started STAR, which is a way to protect young transgender people living on the street by giving them a home. This was initially in a truck that they thought was abandoned, ended up being not abandoned, and that kind of drove off. So then they started renting out dilapidated buildings with no electricity or water. They would fix up the buildings and rent them. They did this for about 8 months until they couldn't afford it anymore, and then they were evicted. But even after the eviction, STAR had already made such an impact. It became a safe haven for people who had never had a place to call home, and it reminded everyone that transgender individuals deserved equal rights too. Really cool, in 1975, Andy Warhol, the artist, crossed paths with Marsha, and he photographed her for his Ladies and Gentlemen series. Throughout Greenwich Village, Marsha was known as Saint Marsha. Locals admired her ability to truly be herself. She had a reputation for being generous and kind, and even though she never really had a lot, she always was giving away clothes and food. She lived a life of poverty and was constantly in danger. In 1990, she contracted AIDS, and she spoke publicly about it because she didn't want anyone to be afraid of the disease. And then on July 6, 1992, Marsha's body was found floating in the Hudson River. Initially, it was ruled a suicide, but her friends and acquaintances strongly disagreed, particularly because of all the hate crimes going around. So in 2012, the New York City Police Department finally agreed to reopen it. The case is still unsolved, but since then, Marsha has become a transgender icon. In 2019, New York City announced that a statue of Marsha and Sylvia would be the first monument to honor trans women in the city. And in 2020, New York State named a waterfront park in Brooklyn after Marsha. Let me know if you have any questions. Come back for Sylvia's video. I did it in under 3.